everyone, so in this video we're going to be talking about how to write content that ranks on search engines. So I'll take you through my process and show you exactly how I create content that search engines will want to see on their page 1 search results. So at the end of the video, don't forget to like, subscribe and share. And if you want to find out more about local SEO and how to do it yourself, then I've got a link to a free guide in the description below. The free guide is a step-by-step process to show you how you can rank your website for local search, and also you'll be given access to a free private Facebook group. So in the last video we went through how to do competitor research and create a page that will rank on Google. In this video we're going to dive into that a little bit deeper and look at what kind of copy you need to write that search engines will like. So let's get straight into it. So in the last video we went through the keyword and we established everything we need to do in order to rank for that keyword. So we established the page structure, we established if it needs a certain amount of images, how many words roughly. We basically built up an idea of what Google wants to see on its page 1 search result. In this video we're going to have a look more at the actual content itself. So I'm going to show you how to create content that actually ranks and that Google wants to see and the people searching for this want to see. So what you want to do is open up a Word document and you want to start noting all of the information about the content down. So we established the word count in the last video, so for the purpose of this one we're going to say that we're going to aim for 2,000 words. Now this isn't essential that you hit the 2,000 words, it's just a rough guide. So our research from the last video tells us that on average we need around 2,000 words per page. So we just want to have that written down as a rough target. To break that down, we're then going to want to work out how many headings that we need. So I try to break down the 2,000 words into smaller chunks. So I would have 10 headings of 200. Again, this is just a rough guide. We just need 10 headings of 200 words and that just makes it manageable. Next, we want to fill in what our target keyword is. So we're targeting the keyword Builders South London. Following on from that, we want to enter a title. So in this instance, it's going to be Builders South London. But if you was writing a blog article, then you'd want to spend a bit of time thinking about a suitable article that's going to bring in readers. That would also include your target keyword. We'll then want to write down the audience location. So in this instance, it's the UK, but you might be writing an article to target other parts of the world. So you'd want to note that down so that you get everything right. You get the language right and you get the laws right. Next, we want to be writing down the article tone. So how do you want to talk to your target audience? What kind of approach do you want to take? How do you want the audience to feel when they read it? So basically just make sure that you're thinking about your target audience. Next we want to write down the audience demographics. So who are your audience? What age are they? What gender are they? Anything you can think about that's going to help you write a better article to your target audience. Then we want to write down the general writing guidelines. So what notes do we want to give ourselves so when we're writing this article? So for example, what I've put is please include the target keyword somewhere within the first or second sentence. Include high quality outbound links where possible to give the readers more information on something if needed. Try to write an even number of words under each of the following headings in whichever order reads best. The content should be highly informative, giving accurate information on each subject. The content should have short and snappy sentences with no waffle/filler content to keep the user engaged. The points under each heading show what should be covered in each section and what you need to go into more detail about. And then below that we'll then write the article overview. So what is the article about? Just give a brief summary. Below that we'll then write what the article aim is. So what are we trying to achieve out of this article? Are we trying to educate someone, or are we trying to get them to buy our services? Or are we trying to do both? So fill all this information out so you've got a really clear understanding of what you need to write, or if you're going to be giving this to someone else to write, they've got as much information as possible to write the best article and the most accurate article they can. Following on from that, we then want to write the content outline. So if you've got 10 headings, then enter all of the headings there. You might want to label them up as heading 1, 2, 3, 4, so you know exactly what kind of structure you need when you do actually come to put this content on your website. Below that, we then want to write the LSI keywords, so the related keywords, and we'll be going into more about this in the video. Below that, you want a notes section, so you want a section where you can write competitors headings, a section where you can put Google's what people ask, a section for book headings, a section for what's missing from competitors content, and a section for what can be improved on your competitors content. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to scroll down to our competitor sites and we're going to want to take a look at the content in more detail. So we'll look at the headings that they've got here. We'll note all this down onto our document. So we'll copy that and then we'll paste it into competitors headings. We'll copy that, we'll paste that into competitors headings again. We'll then keep going down the page 1 search results. So we'll obviously skip the directories here. We'll go to this one here. We'll do the same again. We'll make note of their headings. So heading 1 is Builders South London. Heading 2, all types of building services. We'll make note of this heading here, all aspects of residential projects. This heading again, Builders in South West London. That'll go onto our document. Even things like this, get in touch. That's another heading that you'd want to note down. We'll then repeat the exact same process for the other websites that are listed on page 1. So we literally just keep going down this list until we're happy with the amount of research that we've got on our competitors. So we know exactly what headings they're including, and we've got all that noted down on our Word document. So now that we've made note of all of our competitors' titles, we now want to look for more titles that maybe they're not covering that is also related to builders in South London. So what we're going to do is we're going to type our keyword builders into Google, and we're going to do a search. What we want to do now is try and find the little drop down boxes that Google puts on its page 1 search results, because these are all questions that people ask that are related to this keyword. So when we type in Builders South London, these boxes, the people also asked section doesn't come up. So to get that up, we need to try and take maybe South out of our keyword and then search that. So if we type in Builders London instead of Builders South London, you get the people also asked section come up. And this people also asked section is Google basically telling you what people search that is related to the keyword that you're trying to target. Although it hasn't got South London in it, it is still relevant to that keyword. So now what we want to do, if any of these keywords are relevant to our service that we're offering, we want to copy these and put them on the Word document. So how do I find a builder in London? That now needs to go into Google's What People Ask section. So as you can see, some of these questions are not really relevant to our service. It doesn't really match the right search intent. Who are the top 10 home builders? That's not really going to give people the answers to the questions they would want to read about when they come onto our page. So we'll ignore them. We'll try and find ones that are relevant to our services that we're offering. So potentially this one, what is a builder in the UK? So the beauty with the people also ask section is the more that you open these drop downs, the more questions they give you related to it. So how do I find a builder in London? If we click that and then click it back down again, you can see that there's more being added to this list, and you can keep doing this and more keeps getting added to it. So you can keep doing this so much with this one question, and then it will eventually stop giving you more questions. But then if you go to the next question, so we'll find one that's also related to the services that we're offering. So there's this one here, how do I know if a contractor is reliable? We'll keep clicking that up and down until we haven't got any. And then what we want to do is basically just go through this list here, try and find questions that are relevant to our keyword that people will want to know the answers to if they was to click onto our page. There's no point in putting a question on here that isn't related to our services that we're offering. So how much money do contractors make a year? This isn't the question that your customer would be asking you. This is a question that someone interested in maybe becoming a contractor would ask. So if we run through all this, pick out the questions that we think are most relevant to our services, and then add them all to the document that we've got. So now your list should be looking something like this. You've got your competitors headings here, you've then got Google's What People Ask section, and you've noted down some related questions to this. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to try and generate even more heading ideas. So we're going to look at books. So what we want to do now is we want to come over to Amazon and we want to look at books. So the reason we want to look at books is because someone has written full books on subjects that you want to be writing content about on your website. So books are a really good way to start generating more ideas that you can create more in-depth content. So for this, what you want to do is click on the drop down here, click books, and then type your keyword in. So Builders UK. So don't forget that Amazon is also a search engine, so it's going to sort all of the best and most relevant books at the top of its search results. So the first thing we can see is House Builders Bible 13. So if we click on that and then we click here to look inside, you will then get taken to the contents, so you can see what this book contains. So this is just a way to generate more ideas on topics to write about and what to include within your content. So this could be a really good way to reveal something that maybe a competitor hasn't written about that you feel is very important to your service. So you can see here design planning permission. So you could write a whole section on planning permission because you feel that's really important to be covered within your page. So what we'll do is exactly the same again. Anything that we think is really important that your visitors will want to know about, we're going to take inspiration from the table of contents here and just add it to our list. So now your list should be looking something like this. You should have your competitors' headings, you should have Google's what people ask headings, and then you should have some book headings. So what we can do from this is you can now look through the competitors' headings, you can look at what people ask, and you can look at the book headings, and then you can work out what your competitors are not talking about and what you feel would be even more valuable to your audience and what they would need to know about. So I've only done really brief research here, so you would have a lot more than this. But just looking at this now, you can see that no one talks about planning permission. Now that's something that your customers are going to want to know about. They're going to need to know the ins and outs of this before they start a project. So if you're giving them this information, then that's something that your competitors are not giving them. What we'll do then is we'll then copy this heading here and we'll put it here. So that could be a heading. And then lastly, what we want to do is now work out what can be improved on your competitors' content. So this is going to be more looking at the actual content they've written. So we want to try and find maybe ways that we could write it in a better way. So maybe their sentences are too long. Maybe they talk about a lot of irrelevant stuff. And what you want to do is just go through some of the main competitors, read through their content, and then work out what you could improve on. So if you notice they write really long sentences and the sentences are full of repeat content or full of waffle, then you can basically note that down and say that you need to get straight to the point. And that's going to make your content that little bit better than theirs. So this whole section here is about trying to find ways that you can improve on their content. So now your research should look more like this. So you've got the competitors' headings, you've got what people ask, you've got book headings, you've noted down what they're missing, you've noted down what can be improved. So from here, you now want to start picking out what headings you need to put in your content and then putting them in the right order. So we said that we're going to try and aim for 10 headings and 2,000 words of content. So what we're going to want to do is go through here and we're going to want to pick out 10 headings that we can add into this section here, the content outline section. We're going to make sure we put them in the right order so it reads in a logical way. So if you decide to use a heading that your competitors are using, you don't want to simply just copy this heading and put it into your content. You want to have your own take on this. You want to make it your own. You don't want to simply just copy people's content. So now once you start putting all your headings in, it should look a little bit like this. So I'm not going to do them all, but just for the sake of this video so you can see that I've done a few. You should now have your headings in a logical order. What we want to do now is we want to start working out what needs to go under each heading. So the way that we do that is we then research each heading. So we'd copy this heading, we'd then come over to Google and we'd type it in to a Google search. We'll be looking through the page 1 search results again to try and find out what needs to be covered under each heading. So for example, in this instance, we would want to talk about locations we cover, building services that we offer, about us. So we'd want to write a little bit about our company. For this second section, we would then want to write about our reputation. For this section, we'd want to copy this again, put this into a Google search. We would want to use the people asked section again if there's anything here that could help us write a sub heading. So how to choose a builder in South London. Maybe what insurance should my builder have? That heading there could come under how to choose a builder in South London. We can then see our actual question there, how to choose a good builder. We could also click on this website here. We could look through what they're writing about, so how to search for a good builder. Don't be fooled by the badge. Get references, so references could be a really important thing to talk about under this topic. So again, you're doing the exact same process as you was doing for finding the actual headings themselves. You're basically just digging deeper into it and trying to find out what people need to know about this particular little heading. The same for the next one. We pretty much do the same thing for every single heading. So what planning permission do you need? You've got a government website here. This is going to have all of the information that you need to know about planning permission. So you just need to go through here, pick out the key points, and then you would want to write that in your own way. So when you need it, that could be one heading that goes underneath what planning permissions do I need. All we'd do is put that on a bullet point like that, and then that would be an indication that we need to write about that under this particular heading. So yeah, you would do exactly the same thing for every single heading until you have a really detailed content outline telling us exactly what headings we need to write about, what needs to go under each heading. And if you're writing 200 words under each of these headings and you've got a number of bullet points under these headings, 200 words for each heading is going to be really easy to write. And before you know it, you've written 2,000 words. You could do this exact same process for 2,000 words 5,000 words, 10,000 words, 20,000 words, because it's all about the planning. So now that you've got your content outline detailing exactly what needs to be covered under each heading, we now want to just build a list of secondary keywords. So secondary keywords are going to be keywords that are related to your main target keyword. So our main target keyword is Builders South London. So we want to put that into a Google search, and we want to try and find what is going to be related to this keyword. So it's going to make our content extremely relevant when people search for our target keyword. Also, if people type in other variations of our keyword, then this is going to help us come up. So at the bottom here, search is related to Builders South London. We want to copy all of that and we want to paste that into our document under LSI keywords bracket secondary keyword. We then want to go through this and obviously take out anything that isn't relevant. So Checkatrade isn't going to be relevant, but the other ones are. So we'll keep all them there. We'll then want to go back to our book and we can pick out keywords here that are going to be relevant to our services. So trying to brainstorm and think of words that people are going to relate to the keyword that you're trying to target. And we want to note all of these keywords down on our document. The last thing that we can do is use paid tools or even free tools to help us find more keywords. So you could use things like Google Keyword Planner, which is totally free, or you can use things like SEMrush. So we can see what keywords our competitors are getting picked up for our target keyword. So we'll put Builders South London into the Google search. We'll click on our competitors' websites, we'll copy that and we'll put it into SEMrush. We'll then go to organic search, we'll pick the right database, so we need to be on the UK one if we're trying to rank for Google UK. We'll then click the keywords that they're ranking for. We can go through this list of keywords and add them to our document, because all of these keywords here are getting picked up for that page that they're ranking for. So as long as they're relevant, they could be added to your content. One thing you do want to be careful of though, is that you don't start putting keywords in that you're potentially targeting on other pages. So here you've got extension builders in Kent. So if you put that into your content and you had a Kent page, then what you'd be doing is essentially targeting the same keyword on two separate pages. This can confuse search engines and then it's going to have a negative effect on your rankings. So you want to make sure that you stick to keywords that are within your group. But this should give you more ideas of secondary keywords that can be added to your content. You can then go to a keyword research tool. So on SEMrush, it's called the Keyword Magic tool. So again, put your target keyword into this. You can then look down this list and find any keywords that are related to your target keyword. You can then go at the top here, you can sort the different types of searches. So related search. So this is giving you related keywords to Builders South London. So again, you want to be careful that you don't start putting keywords in that you're targeting on other pages. And then another way to find questions like we was doing earlier would be to click on their questions tab here. So now your whole Word document should be really detailed. It should be more detailed than mine because I've obviously only done this for the video. So there's bits that I haven't filled in, but yours should be all fully filled out. You should have every heading that you're going to be writing about, all bullet pointed underneath. You should have a full list of LSI secondary keywords. You should have all of your notes filled out. And basically this whole document is going to make writing this content really easy. It's going to make sure that you write really in-depth content that is better than your competitors. So one last thing that we noted down in our last video was how many times competitors repeat certain keywords. So that's another thing that you want to bear in mind when writing your content. You want to make sure that you're repeating keywords enough times. So if in your research your competitors repeated South London building services 5 times, then you want to make sure that you're including that similar amount of times in your content. So by the end of this research, you should have a clear document that shows you exactly how to create content that ranks. It should be super easy for you to write 1,000 words or even 4,000 words because of the planning you've done. Like every step so far, this is super important to make sure that you rank on page 1. By following this process, you will make it easy for yourself to write content that ranks. And throughout this whole process, you want to be thinking about how can you improve what your competitors are doing, what are they missing, and just what can you generally do that's better than they're doing at the moment. So thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments section below. And if you want to find out a little bit more about how to do local SEO and follow my step-by-step guide, just follow the link below where you can download that.